Greetings. Here are some of the key highlights of events taking place and shaping North Africa and the Sahel for the week ending the 25th of January 2025. Now, Morocco released some statistics showing that in 2024, authorities there reported blocking more than 78,000 irregular immigration attempts, with most intercepted migrants originating from West Africa for 58%, 12% of them from the Maghreb region, and East and Central Africa for 9%. The Moroccans say they dismantled 332 human trafficking networks and coordinated the voluntary repatriation of a little over 6,000 individuals. Now, despite the intensified surveillance, these numbers clearly underestimate the scale of migration due to the undetected crossings, the repeat attempts, the undocumented tragedies. The data is evidence of the challenges of addressing irregular migration driven by such things as economic disparities, instability, but it also highlights the sophisticated trafficking networks involved across North Africa and West Africa. Another event that caught my attention is that on December the 31st, 2024, Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire announced a significant moves to essentially end foreign military presence, mirroring similar actions taken by Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and most recently Chad. These decisions mark a rejection of France's historic role in Africa, rooted in post-independence security arrangements, which have evolved into symbols of neocolonialism. France's military footprint in Africa, which once was pivotal for regional stability and crisis interventions, has essentially shrunk drastically, reflecting shifting priorities towards Eastern Europe and the Middle East. There are going to be implications with the closures generally undermining France's diplomatic influence, undermining its ability to respond to African crises, and generally its role as a global leader in African security and security matters. With Africa accounting for only a small fraction of France's trade, these developments will likely further erode the little of a Franco-African ties and signal a new era in the continent's quest for autonomy, if you will, in military and political affairs. Staying in the region, 4 Moroccan truck drivers that were kidnapped near the Burkina Faso-Niger border were released finally unharmed in Niger after being held for several days. The drivers transporting electrical equipment from the city of Casablanca in Morocco to Niamey were intercepted in a region known for armed groups and instability. They were taken to a remote forest, stripped of their trucks and cargo, but eventually they were released without injuries. Separately, Tuareg militants in Mali announced that they facilitated the release of a Spanish national who was abducted near the Algeria-Mali border. The Front of the Liberation of Azawad facilitated the release of the Spaniards, with the Spaniards being in pretty good health and awaiting transfer to Algerian authorities. Again, these incidents are evidence of a more active insurgency in the Sahel. It's not all bad news in the region. For instance, BP, the British energy company BP, has officially launched a gas production at the Grand Tortue Ameim GTE field, a landmark cross-border energy project situated between Senegal and Mauritania following 9 years of development. Announced on January 21st, 2025, during a meeting between Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and a BP executive, the project actually begins with initial production and plans to scale up in the coming weeks. In this project, BP holds a 56% stake, alongside with Cosmos Energy with 27%, Mauritania's SMH 7%, and Senegal's Petrosen holds a 10% stake. This project will essentially enhance both the Sahelian nations' role as regional energy players, with the potential for significant economic return for these two countries, and with some marginal contribution to the global energy market. Until our next talk, thank you for listening and goodbye.